Hello. So today we are going to talk about mental peace, mental health. Why is it so elusive? What keeps us so far away ourselves from it? Because all our usual pursuits, they are in a way an attempt to go towards this mental peace, this idea of success which encompasses all of our desires, wherein we get it. Yet still, our journey, our ways towards it are really not getting us anywhere towards that. Rather, in many cases, most of them we see that it becomes the more elusive, the more a person runs behind it. Well, we have to start from the very basis of our human experience and the nature of the human being. The lot of scriptures or a lot of ancient wisdom says that human beings are very close to being animalistic in nature, which is a general progression of science as well, which narrates the beginnings or the origin of humans, that we are animals, and what really these scriptures or religions have tried to explore is the animalistic natures, the vrittis that make us very susceptible to our bodily desires, our limited perceptions, and although spirituality or a deep learning of our behavior, even psychology delves deep into how our unfulfilled desires or how our vrittis are the major carriers of what we do on a regular basis. And this has been under a great deal of investigation through, maybe you can call it as psychotherapy or any other kinds of therapies, where you are made or the attempt is made to make in you conscious what is underlying or subconscious within you. And this attempt of trying to make the subconscious conscious is not very different from many spiritual practices like Neti Neti, the creation of Viveka, which is in a way trying to plant the seed of discernment, or trying to question our desires, our actions, seeing the source from where these actions emanate, and what do we blindly do in our lives which is considered as for granted. We do a ton of things which we consider that we are doing it out of a habit, or because it is just the way the things are done usually. But when we investigate deeply, we see into it, we understand, we realize that this was just happening in a flow, a momentum of sorts, which was not really thoughtful in nature. And when one tries to investigate, go deeper, and see the sources of where these actions emanate from, they are able to really question the utility of those actions, because depth makes us realize that the same action could have been done in a very different way, and it would have resulted in some kind of success, you can say, or some kind of a result, some kind of a satisfaction, which is maybe, let's say, closer to satisfying the needs of the human being in terms of actually fulfilling their mental health. Because We do unconscious actions, we do the same thing again and again, and we expect a different result. And that is the source of most of our sufferings. We get attached too soon, we do not question enough, we tend to look at things through the lens of orthodoxies or superficiality or hypocrisies. Our usual lives tend to be heavy on the side of many principles that we think are great, yet we do not follow. When we look deeply into our actions, can see that there are many things which are really not justified when we do it in some other case scenarios. And that is a big cause of the cognitive dissonance, the hypocrisies that we see in our nature. And because we are not able to tally these two parts of our own actions, this creates a kind of a bind on us. It falls heavy on our heads. And when one is not able to basically wind everything down and see reason into their actions or whatever is happening around them, that becomes a great trigger of this great depression, as people call it. An exploratory life, a life which is full of questioning, learning, and most importantly, making a lot of mistakes but trying one's best of not repeating them, is what is really the need of the hour. We think of exploration as something of a taboo. We think of questioning as something which is directly questioning authority. We think of a new way of leading one's life as something which is very esoteric and something which can be tallied or given up to the fringes of society. Where is this fear in us coming from that someone trying to live intelligently will burn to ashes the fabric of lifestyle which we call as society? Why are we so scared of trying to live in a different way? Why do we not awaken to our own miseries? We consider the depth and the heaviness of our sorrows in order to see and realize or observe what miseries they have been leading us to, and see the futility of most of our actions which have been doing nothing but just putting it mildly, to see that we are trapped in our own cycles. चलती चाकी देख कर दिया कबीरा रोए कि दो पाटन के बीच आ साबुत बचा ना कोई, which tries to say that we are just caught in the threshing of the chaki, the flour mill, which is just trying to squeeze or try to grind us down. Because looking at this, the Saint Kabir, he is extremely saddened to see the plight of the common man and how much he is trapped in his own sphere of limiting thoughts and the society at large, which does not really help him or her to go out of the bounds of what has been such a great prison. We are free when one looks at it, but in our minds we are so trapped. We are so nauseated and claustrophobized that we are unable to see the beauty that lies without looking at everything by the form of concepts or through the lens which we have been attuned to. The Saint Osho had said that we as society are made to wear the spectacle, which is a colored spectacle, and this in a way, it very much blinds our vision or puts a shade on it, which is heavy. It is not true. It is away from God. It is away from beauty. It is away from everything which is life affirming. And this, in a way, makes us dead men walking. We are dead men walking. And because of this predicament, it is often said jokingly that the graveyard is where a person is free from this treacherous life, and the settlement is really becoming a graveyard in itself. The society in itself is becoming a graveyard. So, as we know that the topic which we are talking about is mental peace, we can say that it is not achieved without great hard work. But our problem is that the greatness and the hard work has been subjugated to certain things which are really not great. Following something blindly is not great work. Doing chores which do not result in an action or something which is transformative in nature and keeping on doing them, expecting something else to appear, is not great work either. And our success in reaching there lies in sitting back at times, reflecting on what we have done, an avlokan of sorts, and being able to achieve that transformative action or look at things as they are. Because change first lies from seeing the reality of things, and only by acknowledging that we have a problem, there is a mental health epidemic, we'll be able to really come up with solutions that will take us in the direction towards addressing them. Thanks.